Hello out there in the crypto world, DeFi, IoT, Latin America. Look, today I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the market, why crypto did what it did, taking the tank, come back up, certain projections, getting some nuts and bolts about it so we can get a really good understanding. Will crypto survive this year? Now, I'm not doomsday, and I want to give the nuts and bolts of everything. So I think you should watch the video, the whole thing, to hear what we have to say. I think you'll see where we can help you position yourself to survive what may be coming for the world of crypto. Stay with us. Before we begin, I need to make a disclaimer. Here at DeFi IoT Latin America, we are not professional financial advisors. Or are we paid by any company to promote certain products? We here at DeFi IoT Latin America, we invest our own money. We take our own risks. We learn, we make mistakes, and we share what we learn, our successes and our mistakes with you. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe, hit the bell, give us a thumbs up, and write to us what more you'd like to learn. Let's go in now and see what else we can share with you. All right, let's jump into, we talked about like end of December, the Messari report, this crypto thesis for 2022. You can go on and find that on a crypto thesis 2022, Messari report 2022. It's something I highly recommend you read. We promised we were going to come bring updates on this. Now we're going to start doing that right now. The Messari report, if you go down to section 7, and you can jump in here and surviving the winter, you can run in here and find that yourself. I'm not going to go through it now. It's a really good report. It's really, really long, but easy to read. Suggest you take the time to read that so you can get a better feeling of what's coming now. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to get our stomach in our throat a few times like we've been having the last few weeks, especially if anybody's involved in like Ethereum GPU mining, for example. It's at the lowest that's ever been in history, like for the 3090. Not even producing $4 a day right now, which is really low. Anything other than that is producing maybe $1 a day, $2 a day after electricity. Now, my point is not to get into the mining aspect of it, but I'm going to conclude with that mining aspect of it. We still think that the mining aspect is going to be an area that when we have this downturn, now are we in a bear market or not right now? Don't know, but could we slip into that bear market this year? Very easily. And here's why. Here's what's going on. The Messari report warned us that the first part of this year, we were going to take this hit. There's a lot of things coming right now. What do we got? We got the fat F. Remember the whole, I'm just going to give this some really basic nuts and bolts. This group of people, individuals that think that they know more than we do to police us and our financial transactions through the financial systems. And they create these laws. This international organization creates these laws, working alongside of the World Economic Forum, the World Bank, as well as central banks from many countries. So you've got them trying to come down with restrictions. Why? Because they're trying to roll out a digital currency. Now, China came out with a digital currency just a few weeks ago, and they're putting it side by side with the yuan right now. But see how that goes. We can probably guess that that's going to be something obligatory down the road. Russia comes out in the last few days and bans all cryptocurrencies. Mining whatsoever. Russia, it's kind of funny because the two more communist countries are the dominant players out of the 8 that have actually come out now and said cryptocurrency is banned. Now, Venezuela did that at one point too. Now, Venezuela is kind of going backwards and kind of saying, well, maybe we're going to allow certain things to take place here. So yet to be played out. Where's the U.S. going to go on this? Well, this is what's happening with the market. There's actually, the concerns are, the Biden administration is going to, they pass laws in this infrastructure bill, like we talked about before. I'm just going to go brief, and I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts of how it works and what we think is in store for crypto. Is it going to be the end of crypto, or is it going to just be reduced down to a certain handful of people? And we're going to have our own little mini crypto world like it started with. I know we'll see a part of it. What's going to happen to us and what's going to happen to crypto? Well, what happened just now was this. A lot of knee-jerk reaction, and maybe even, now I know you guys are going to say, no, it sounds like conspiracy. I mean, wake up and open our eyes, but maybe even some planned market devaluation on the heels of what's taking place in Russia, on the heels to support what China's doing, on the heels of what's going on in Kazakhstan with the same type of regulation, on the heels of what's taking place in India, on their regulations, and on the heels of the fact the Federal Reserve had a meeting yesterday. And in that meeting, they talked about not just on interest rates, what's going to take place, and they're actually going to maintain it now, pretty much leave where it's at going into the first quarter on 25 basis points. In other words, like 25, that's like 25% of a point in that range, 0 to 25%. That's kind of a range where it's been at now. So they're not going to take a stand on inflation. And what that also reflects in the market. What's that mean? Because you don't have all these bonuses going out from the governments anymore. So you have less product being made because of the whole health issue and everybody not working and people afraid to work. You don't have as many people out working, so you don't have as much supply coming on demand. You've got China actually withholding 60% of type of food products that would not only be exported, being maintained in China for Chinese consumption, not going out to the world as once was happening. So there's going to be this, already we have inflation where 6.8 came out in the last meeting from the Federal Reserve. Inflation. Now that's their numbers, and they calculate that numbers up how they want to, so it favors them the best. So in them doing the best they can do to try to make that number look as low as it can for inflation, they couldn't hide how bad it really is. So you can probably, if you look at what you're making like a year ago, what you're spending a year ago, go back even 2 years ago, go back even 10 years ago, and what you get for the dollar now. Right? Let's use the dollar. You could be the pound or whatever you're going to be using, the euro. But look at that, and you can gauge what I buy today and what I bought yesterday. That's your true inflation rate there. And what I calculated was about 12%. 10 to 12% being on more the secure side. So you really have a dishonest calculation of what inflation actually is at. And that's a concern. They know that. So there's also concern that that could devalue the dollar even worse than it is. And so now, yesterday, the talks were a digital dollar, as we've been saying, that's coming. Right? And that's just us saying that. We do research, we do studies. There's other great people out there that we listen to. One of the channels we listen to is a Coin Bureau guy with the Coin Bureau is really good and really solid a lot of times. I don't quite agree with him though on Axie Infinity and most people because we've had really bad experiences with Axie Infinity as far as I've mentioned many times, and I keep getting my beef over that, but I'll go back to that. I won't get sidetracked on that. So we have these factors coming in this year. Now, I know I listened to Son of a Tech, and he's just trying to give a worst case scenario, and I really have a lot of respect for Son of a Tech as well. I listened to a lot. I studied 3 to 5 hours a day just studying and listening and confirming with what my findings are, what our findings are here, and then trying to bring it to you. So each one of these videos has a minimum of at least 3 hours, I would say on average, of real deep research before we bring it out to you. So here's the nuts and bolts of this. What's going to happen to crypto? There's going to be a lot of regulation coming down. The digital currency right now and the dollar is probably something that's going to have to take place, but at least the Fed has pushed it back to Congress. And the Congress is going to have basically this year, they're going to have basically 10 months to be able to get that through if that's going to be the agenda. You've got a lot of people against that. And when I talk to people on the streets when I'm in the US and I ask them about the digital currencies, they get really offended by it. The simple fact that they think the government was willing to take away their dollar, they actually think I'm just fabricating it. And plus they confuse digital currency with cryptocurrency, which are two different monsters. I mean, one is actually a monster, one's actually a friend, right? One is decentralized and it's actually open source. Digital is closed source, centralized, and has a lot more potential fraud in it and agenda movement in it than cryptocurrency does, because cryptocurrency, we as a body of the world govern as not one centralized government or ideology. And we keep each other in check and balance. It's a true form of a republic. So with that in mind, will people still desire that idea to have something that's we own, that's ours? Or will we move to the secure side of a digital currency, thinking, well, the government's going to take care of us? Well, that's what's happening. What's happening is not so much people are moving to a pro-digital. That's going to be kind of this being offered as an option to run alongside. But there's going to come a day, mark my word on this, that digital is not going to be optional anymore. And they're trying to sell that, especially like on the metaverse, trying to sell the digital as crypto. So people think it's the same thing. You only have basically 5% of the whole world that really is involved and understands crypto. The other 95% may have heard of it or not and have no real clue or conception, I should say, or understanding of what crypto actually is, nor do any of them know the difference. In most of that 5%, I hear a lot of experts talking about digital and crypto, and they put it in the same pocket. And it's not. They're two different pockets. One is controlled, one the government can abuse, the other one is not controlled. We, as a people, determine. And that's a big body of people making a decision. So we should be slow moving and making changes, and we can rely on that to be more consistent, really, than we can a digital currency. Governments can just fly by night, change out of government, or somebody else comes in, like you have right now with 3 new members on the Fed, on the committee, and we don't really know where they are. They're actually anti-crypto, pro-digital, but they're saying that Congress has to make that law, and that's true. And that the Supreme Court just established that when it came down to certain obligations with the health issues happening right now. So I think that they're afraid to overstep that bound. They got slapped for it. You got elections coming up this November with Congress and with the Senate. I think this year they're going to try to lay that low. But there is a threat that the Democrats could lose the House and the Senate. There is that threat. We'll see. We'll see if they've got those let's see if they have it down packed this time. Let's put it that way so I don't get in trouble from YouTube here. Not going into political aspect of it, but it does have a bearing. Everything in crypto has a bearing on economics, and economics has a bearing on politics. Or I should say the other way around. Politics has a bearing on economics, and economics has a bearing on crypto. Both have a bearing on crypto. So we have to understand that. We have to study that. And part of my studies daily is just that: economics, crypto, blockchain, and politics. So I have to know what's going on in the world, not just what's going on where we are or for my country. Though those are big players. I have to focus on those. Anyway, so let's put it down this way. What do we think is going to happen with crypto long term? Do we think it's going to come down? Well, crypto is supposed to be this whole inflation hedge, right? If the dollar is going to get devalued, they'll replace it with the digital dollar first. And I mean, if it's going to collapse, and it's only been held up now because of the buoyancy it has, but crypto is a threat to the dollar. And many don't want to admit that, but they know that deep inside. They're just kind of blowing it off and kind of replace that and sidestep it. And they're going to regulate it so strongly, especially in the US, that it's going to be such a burden that people are just going to walk away from that and go something easier, which is digital. But there you're going to find when it's digital, it's controlled, and you're going to be limited also. The proposal was how much money you can actually hold. So you won't be able to keep like your dollars right now or even a bank account. You'll be limited how much money you can hold because you can't we're afraid of a run on the government and digital currencies. Long story. I'm not going to go on digital right now. That could be something we can develop later. Here's what it comes down to. Regulation on international level. You have countries banning crypto. You had inflation rates coming out, and you had the Federal Reserve meeting yesterday, all saying in December they were going to come out and start raising at least 3 times the interest rates, right? And that concerns. So you had this knee-jerk reaction going into yesterday's meeting. But there's concerns now that was actually a planned knee-jerk reaction, because it's kind of funny. It's coinciding with Russia coming out and banning crypto. It shows the volatility of the crypto market. What that does, this is how it went down so drastically, right? And now it's coming back up again. That shows inconsistency. We're going to try to present digital now to be more consistent and something controllable and safer for us as a people. You have this. You have the threat of a war between Russia and the U.S. And not just that, but you got a threat that China's going to sneak in and attack Taiwan during this. And there's people out there that know what's going on, especially these movers. You have banks and you have big financial institutions now that can move, buy, and sell crypto. That's why I've never been real big on the banks or these financial institutions get in, because crypto is their competition. It's not their friend, it's their competition. So they're going to do what they can do to manipulate that market. Let's look at what Elon Musk does. He comes out and shoots his mouth off, and it affects the markets. We got to get past that. And that's going to come from educating our friends. So please go out and educate your neighbor. Teach them the advantages and benefits. Yeah, there's risk in crypto. Look, the dollar moves up and down every day. We just don't see it because we got the paper in our hand. When you go into the crypto market, you say, well, it's up, it's down. It's actually kind of fun. But if you plan out right and you invest right and you do things right and you get into mining, because mining's the way. Now, maybe not GPUs right now. ASIC mining, Bitcoin's not going to go anywhere. That's probably a safe bet. They're a little expensive to get right now, but some are starting to come out. Yeah, you're going to have a halving in 2 years for Bitcoin, but we still feel mining is going to be a safe way. Now, the other is day trading. But day trading is not really good for the actual crypto market. Day trading, whether the market's up or down, you can make money on day trading, especially if you're going to get the bots. You can go online and get bots, and we need to do that still. I promise you that. So I'm going to give you just a basic story of where crypto is, and you can take it from there, what you think is going to happen with the crypto market going forward. Here's a big story. Let's just say we have a baby. A baby's born. And I kind of mentioned this last week. I think I did this on the Spanish videos. Let's take a newborn baby. A newborn baby's born. We're excited. We see this baby. We're concerned. We count fingers and toes and so forth, right? Well, when this child's born, we have a lot of hope for it. We hope this child is going to actually grow and be what we call normal, big, strong, whatever, and produce and be wise and do things. Well, let's just say, for example, that child needs to get to 16 to drive. And we have a chauffeur that's been consistent and reliable with us. And that chauffeur has been there a long time. It's an older chauffeur, reliable. We know exactly how he drives. We feel comfortable. We feel safe with him. And down here, I'm relating that story to you because this is what we do, right? We don't generally drive ourselves here because the laws here are so pitted against a driver that I, being a foreigner, don't take that chance because I'm an easy target for lawsuits. I've been there already. Now, with that being said, your child's growing and showing a lot of potential to be a really good driver one day. Maybe I can replace my chauffeur with that driver, but I can't get that child a driver's license until that child grows and matures and so passes a certain standard test, right? What happens now is that baby, Bitcoin was a baby. It's not a baby anymore. That baby's a young child now, showing a lot of potential. And we'll say cryptocurrency now has blossomed in this child. We're seeing all these great potential characteristics, but we haven't tested that child. That child's not really been tested now because this is something that's just developed over the last 2 years. Can that child drive that car yet? Well, he's curious. He likes to drive. But in an emergency situation, would I turn to that child to drive me to where I need to go, or would I go to my reliable source to drive me to where I need to go? Well, obviously, we're going to go back to our old reliable source. Now, even if that old reliable source has adapted a drug habit or is less responsible or has other things on his mind now, problems, it's not the same reliable person that we confided in all these years because we don't know about those habits, or we didn't ever know about those habits. But now that those habits are kind of starting to come to light a little bit, can I still confide in that person? Here's the bottom line. Once the habits of that old reliable driver come to true light in the greater audience, that reliability is not going to be there anymore. And right now what's happening is this. The concern of inflation means that T-bills, your bonds, are going to rise in their interest rates. So people are going to pull their money out, which we saw happen in the crypto world as well as the stock market. They're going to put that money in safer places. Safer places would be traditional, even though that traditional driver, if you would, has got some bad habits now that we maybe even know about, but we just want to ignore it because there's really no place else for us to go yet. We're watching the crypto young child, got a lot of potential, but it hasn't proven itself yet under all these new regulations and all these new attacks. Now it's really being accepted. You got El Salvador and other countries now coming online to be fully crypto. And now you're saying, okay, what's going to happen? So even though money is being pulled out of crypto market, this is the point I want to get to. And they put back in traditional areas such as maybe they can pull out of stocks, but they're getting the stocks are paying dividends. Maybe they don't have a high potential return for long-term investment, but they're going to pay you dividends, a lot of your blue chips, your S&Ps. Right? So you see S&Ps, basically your S&P is going to stay strong. Over the year, it's gone up better than the actual stock market, obviously. Gold and silver, well, there's some issues with that because you can always also increase the supply chain, and governments in the past have come and taken that, repossessed that even in the United States in the 1930s. So if I was to take my money and I didn't have this confidence or the understanding I have in the crypto world, I would put it back into things that are more secure and traditional. The driver I can rely on. Not that young boy yet that has a lot of potential, and I'm looking at him, but I'm not going to go there until I have to, or until he matures and shows me that's a better option. So one or two things is going to happen. You're going to have runaway inflation, which is very likely, and you're going to see the dollar and these currencies begin to default. You're going to have a lack of confidence in them and be replaced by digitals. And you're going to have people not confident in digitals and move to cryptocurrencies in masses. Or you're going to see people just choose themselves by seeing the writing on the wall. Hey, cryptocurrency actually did survive this. And the more cryptocurrency survives it, the more solid it gets, and the more we educate people on cryptocurrency. That's the purpose of this channel. the more confidence we're going to get in that. So the more that young boy begins to start driving now, I'm going to put my confidence here because I also see a hope there for a longer future. This old driver has got to come to an end with his capacity, his eye capacity. Just things are going to have to come to an end one day. Waves always hit the shore, my dad used to tell me. Surfers always have to paddle back out and ride a new wave. The trick is, don't hit the shore. So meaning I think you're going to have to hit the shore before they're going to realize, I got to get a different wave. And that's going to be cryptocurrency. Because in the end, cryptocurrency has already proven itself, but not in the masses, just in the small body of people in the crypto world. And I wasn't even part of that until a few years ago. So I can't even say, that I was there. I was actually one of the skeptics on the sidelines, weighing it out and watching. And then I realized, hey, I don't like where the financial institutions go. They treat me bad. They don't value my service anymore. They control my money. I don't like this. I want to have more control. And I'm not buying the fact it's for my safety and my concern. Well, I'll make my own decisions. Plus, I know from stories I've told you that that's not true. That's actually a lie. And that's from inside information that I won't go into that story again right now. But I know personally that that's not true. They try to keep us from, protect us from laundering money and so forth, when they are the actual keys that are funneling all this corruption and money laundering. I'm sorry, but that's the facts. You don't want to believe me? Do some serious homework. I know that from experience. Not that I did anything corrupt, but it was offered to me by more than once. And it was offered to me from presidents of central banks of different countries I've lived in and done business in. So now, summary. That young boy called cryptocurrency has a lot of potential, but it hasn't got our faith yet. And we're creatures of habit, and we're falling back to the old standard. Even though we know that old standard now has got some bad habits. But when we start really seeing how bad those bad habits are and how that can put us in danger, we're going to move back to crypto. So what do we think is going to happen? The Masari report, if you look at it, the page I'm telling you down below here, you look at that Masari report, you read it, they also project we're going to have this downturn, but crypto is going to be the first to come back out of that downturn. And I believe that to be true. Now, where are we going to see that at? Well, I'm not going to name coins today. We've been naming some we really like, Polkadot. Algorand is something that, they're really mixing in well because of who's in charge of Algorand, their history, and where Algorand wants to go. So we think Algorand is going to be something strong going forward. If there becomes a digital currency, that'll make a threat against cryptocurrencies because it's going to make a threat about the new government digital currency. But Algorand, I don't think is going to be something that's going to be pushed away, even with the digital currency. And there are even some talk on stable coins, USDT, USDC, actually becoming maybe the alternative to stable coin for the US dollar. So there's those talks. Congress has to pass that law. I think it's been established recently by the Supreme Court of other things that the federal government is trying to overstep their bounds on. Whether you're pro or con, there has to be the Constitution is the Constitution. Whether we like it or don't like it, that's what we chose by living in America, right? So bottom line is this. We feel good about crypto. What are we doing with crypto? We are investing our money in buying mining equipment, helium hotspots, as well as others. Planet Watch. The downside of Planet Watch is going to saturate real quick. Planet Watch, I think, is a very poorly planned coinomics, I'm going to say, tokenomics. I don't like the tokenomics of Planet Watch. I think it too quickly, and not even a year, they're already saturating their Type 4s. And people are going to get less money for it. So they need to go longer to be able to get more people on board, get a greater balance. I think they're feeling the weight of that right now. And, which concerns us too, because they're showing how centralized they are by coming out and saying, okay, we're changing this, we're changing this. Here's the rules. And it's not retroactive. It's just going forward. At least that's good, and they're good about that. But the community doesn't vote on those things. They make centralized decisions. So helium, for the most part, they do too. They allow us vote, but they make centralized decisions. But do I think those two will align themselves with the government? Yes, I do. That means we have to be careful how much they're going to align themselves with the government. But I do think they will, and I think they're going to be strong and go forward because of the service they're providing. And I think that's the underlying strength to helium and to Planet Watch. So what we recommend right now, I think the other coming out will be the cloud, decentralized storage. Those three areas will be areas that we're going to focus on, and then we're going to go into. Now, cloud decentralized storage is early. Not going to paddle out right now. That's going to develop as metaverse develops and comes out. You're going to have a lot of opportunities in metaverse as well. Please don't get wrapped up on all the video games, even though we have people doing that. You can really get wrapped up in that. That's not the whole idea of it. We want to try to create solutions for the future, right? Some of you are really good at those video games and maybe come up with solutions. But our opinion on this is crypto is going to survive. And crypto is going to be that go-to currency down the road because the governments right now are in decision. That's the fact. Even the U.S. government right now is in decision on whether we go digital or we keep the dollar. And crypto is right there. And crypto, the reason where they're going digital is because crypto's pushed the governments to go digital. They pushed the governments, and the governments lied to us about the inflation, about giving all this money away. Who's paying that? The governments don't have the money. We're paying that. So that's in all countries, and you're starting to see that effect across the board. We think crypto, I feel crypto, honestly, and I'm banking a huge amount of our stake that we're investing in the crypto world. In fact, I'll be honest with you. Everything that we're investing right now is in the crypto world in different degrees and different branches of that market. But we have nothing left here at DeFi IoT in Latin America in the actual stock exchange. You might say, well, that's a mistake. And maybe so. Maybe so. But I don't confide in governments honoring their bonds. U.S. government really didn't pay their bills last year. They did last year. So I created this way to get through it. I don't have the confidence that they can do it for us. I like the crypto where I can do it myself. What I like about it is mining. I don't care if the coin goes down, then I just get more miners. So you need to start investing in that now. And I probably shouldn't be telling you that because that's going to affect us too. But I want people to get involved and understand what crypto is. So the more we can know about this, the more we can strengthen crypto, the more we can take back control of our lives. And that's what the purpose there is, decentralized finance. We make the decisions, you and I and the market. And we can help the poor rise up and not be poor anymore. Not through a government-controlled digital currency. I don't care. And if they want to give them a free, I can't remember the name of what they're calling it now. It slips my tongue. Sometimes going back and forth between Spanish and English, I lose the words. But they're going to give them a free monthly allowance, a basic income. Right? That's only going to create lazier people. Imagine with the metaverse coming on, playing video games, gambling. What kind of society are we going to have there? Then we're all going to be codependent. And we're going to be brought down by these people, those of us who want to rise up and looked at as rebels. Rise up, meaning do something ourselves. So we need to start making that stance now. We need to wake up. So please, send this video to your neighbors. Go to your neighbors, talk to them about it. Tell them, teach them the basics. Hook them on, help them subscribe to us or anybody else. Coin Bureau is really good, but it's also for those who understand, right? There's others too that are really good, but for those who have more understanding. So on the basics, you got to get down to the basics, give them the milk. And then when we get the milk, the desire to beat, and then we can feed that to them here on the other channels. DeFi IoT Latin America, please, let's stay in this together. Let's support crypto. We're going long on crypto. Mining equipment. I don't care what the coin is. You'll always get paid every month. Then you can take some like the Polkadot right now is a good opportunity to get in Polkadot parachains. That's an area. It's a good long-term, well, Algorand. It's not a good blockchain. They're aligning themselves to the governments. Helium, Planet Watch, and cloud storage mining will be 3 areas to start looking into right now. Don't take our word for it. Do your own homework. DeFi IoT Latin America. Hit the bell. Subscribe. Pass us along. We just hit 1,000. Thank you, everybody, for helping us reach that milestone of 1,000. We've been at this for about 3.5, 4 months now. And it took us a while to get there, I guess. Let's see where we get to that second 1,000 now, but we can't do it without your help. So we're starting to write us now, and we're going to trying to get back to you more. Please write us. What else do you want to hear from us? Talk to you tomorrow.